Okay, moving to our code, we are going to write a model for our user object. So let's select our category here, Command N to create a new Swift file, and we are going to call this muser, which is going to be short for our market user. So this class is going to be controlled by controlling our user login, user registration, updating our user, and also it's going to be keeping our local user as well. Since our user authentication is happening with our Firebase authentication, I need to import it here. So we say import Firebase authentication, and then I'm going to call my class, and it's going to be muser, and our user is going to have some variables here. Let me just get this away. So we are going to have an object ID, and this is going to be string. Then we are going to have an email, so this is var email because email may be changed, string. Then we say var first name, and this is going to be a string as well. Then we have last name, string. We have full name is a string, and we have var purchased items, actually item IDs, because this is what we are going to store, and this is going to be an array of strings. So basically, whenever our user purchases some item, we are going to save this ID inside our purchase item IDs so that we can see the history what each user has purchased. Then we have var full address because we want to know where to send our items, and it's going to be an optional. And finally, we are going to have another var on board, and it's going to be a boolean. Now these are the all variables our each muser object will have. So now we need to have an initializer. I'm going to mark initializers, and first one is going to be init with our object ID, which is a string. Then we will have an email, which is a string, first name, again it's a string, and last name, which is a string as well. So we need to set all our items here, all our variables. So the object ID is going to be equals to underscore object ID, whatever actually we are passing to our function. Then we have the email is equals to underscore email, and we have first name is equals to our underscore first name, last name is equals to underscore last name. Then we have our full name. This is going to be equals to, we say, first name plus a space, and then plus last name. This one needs underscore as well. The full address is going to be equals to empty string for now. On board is going to be equals to false by default, and purchase item IDs is going to be equal to empty string by default. So this is our standard initializer. Last name. Oh, I have a typo here, and we should fix this one as well. Okay, and we need another initializer. I'll just command P to fix this. And this initializer will be initializing our muser object with a dictionary, so that whenever we download our user object from Firestore, we can quickly initialize and create an muser object. So we say init, and I'm going to do this with dictionary, which is a type of NS dictionary. And our object ID is going to be equals to our dictionary k object ID, and we're going to specify that this is a string. Then for every variable here we have, I want to make sure that we have the value before we set them. So we say if let mail is equals to our dictionary k email, and this one we don't have yet, so let's quickly go to our constants, and in our constants we are going to create some extra keys for our user object, and let's put it here, and also let's copy this, paste, and call this k email. It's going to be email. So paste it one more time, and then we have our first name, and the same thing we're going to do with last name. And the full name. Next we have our current user, so say k current user. It will be called current user, and we have full address, and we are missing two more things, which is k onboard and our purchased items. Item IDs. Okay, just Command P that our Xcode now knows what's going on here. We can go back and say k email, and this will stay as, and here not as, we need our curly braces. And if our dictionary has an email key, we are going to say our email is equals to the mail, and I can specify that this is as string, because we know that our email we are saving as string. Else, if our dictionary doesn't have a email, what I'm going to do is set my email to an empty string, so that our application doesn't crash when it tries to look for the email. So let's copy and paste these. From our email, we are going to check the first name. So instead of mail, I'm going to say f name, and we say k first name, and this is going to be first name here is equals to f name as string. Otherwise our first name is going to be equals to empty string. And just continue this with rest of our variables. So So we have L name here for last name. After last name, I'm going to put full name here, because this one we're not going to check. This will be equals to our first name plus empty space plus last name. And after our last name, we're going to check the full address. And this is going to be our onboarding. And instead we just say as boolean. And by default it will be equals to false. Then we have our purchase IDs, K purchase item. And this is going to be an array of string. Otherwise it's going to be an empty array. And let's just fix our syntax here. And this is it. So we have our initializers and we have our variables. So our muser function is ready. And our next lecture, we are going to continue writing the code to register and load users from our Firestore.